All right, we are live in action. Happy Thursday, everybody. My name is Tia Bell, and I'm one of the founders of the Trigger Project. Trigger stands for True Reasons I Grabbed the Gun, Evolved from Risk. And as a nonprofit organization, we're trying to raise awareness of these risk factors that lead to gun violence. There are individual, community, social, and societal risk factors that lead us to pulling the trigger. Um, but what I've noticed in working with my youth from DC, my hometown, is that they are unaware of these risk factors that we're born into, and society has sort of forgotten or not accepted that we have designed these living conditions that we're born into. So I want society to help us change the narrative, and I want our youth, our babies, to start young in helping us change the norm. So with one of our initiatives to change the norm and narrative, we have tonight with us Mr. C. Dub C. Webb.
What's up? That's me.
Curtis Mozie. And he's here tonight because personally, when I was putting together a calendar that I thought could be impactful, that can bring hope and healing, which is my intent for Gun Violence Awareness Month, I was thinking about how many people have done this work before us, and I ran into an incredible man and activist and creator named Mitch Credle, who actually my mom connected me to, and through his story and his mentorship, and doing a little bit of research myself, just wanting to really make a change, make a difference, because we're in generations of trauma. And so I'm sorry, my internet's a little tripping. Okay. Where his heart lies, where he did most of his work for our young people. But secondly, when I was growing up, I always remember seeing footage of crime scenes and having like visuals in my head from seeing things in person, but also seeing things on this footage. Um, that kind of helped me like paint a picture when I was younger and imagine like what was going through after I left a crime scene, or what happened like right before I got to one. And it's so crazy because I'm working with videographers and creators today to try to bring imagery, and it's already been done. So I wanted to bring a pioneer in this game, a legend, somebody who I am inspired by, to the table. One, because I need to learn and help, but I wanted to give you a platform to show our young babies who are deemed as potential high risk young people, to see like they are the change. They are the change. So without further ado, I would like for Mr. Mozie to introduce himself, um, just from the heart, and then I have an introduction that I want to share that was written so beautifully for you guys.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for letting me be here on this platform because it's very important. First of all, I want to thank you. And also, my name is Curtis Mozie, but they call me C-Web. And I'm a person who loves to help people. You know, I'm a mentor with the youth, and I'm also a filmmaker. So I just have a passion on just saving lives. You know, I create film and I document. I've been documenting the streets for like 30 years. So I have a lot of footage, and I want to kind of, show our young people that there's consequences when you do things. You know, it's consequences, and the pain is hurting. It's real, real bad. So I want them to see before they get involved in things. So I just, this is what I do. I'm see where it tells to take, man, and I'm here trying to do my best with what I got. So it's pretty much, me.
It's beautiful, beautifully said. That's I read a quote that said we have two hands, one to help ourselves and one to help others, and you definitely personify that from just what you did before I met you, and now even just helping me better my dream. And I want to read this introduction to you all because, like I said, it was beautifully written. So it goes like this. I'm going to keep my camera off so that you guys can hear me clearly. Curtis Mozie, known as C-Web, is without a doubt a leader in Washington, D.C. When he is not working at his day job at Kennedy Recreation Center as a recreation specialist, working with youth and serving residents and guests, he spends almost every waking moment trying to prevent gang and gun violence from taking place in the streets of D.C. With the creation of Tale of the Tape Foundation, Curtis produces films that document the lives and deaths of youth that were lost in gun violence. Curtis Mozie is and has been a catalyst for positive change for 20 years. Very few adults are able to earn the trust of both police officers and teenagers who are active gang members. Having been a police officer himself, it is really incredible that gangs have allowed him to intimately explore their violent and brutal world. His video camera captures not only their day-to-day lives playing basketball, but their candidness in interviews at his apartment, which is known as in the Shaw area as the Safe House. These young men are neighbors and have become his friends. I'm going to read that again because a lot of people don't believe shooters are people. I'm going to read that line again because a lot of people don't believe shooters are people. These young men are his neighbors and have become his friends. When one of them is killed or injured in gang violence, Curtis is there to mourn the loss with his family members. He shares their sentiments of senselessness and grief. The age-old question, why, is asked by sobbing loved ones. In one particular moving scene, he shows a young man who was with his god brother laying dead in a hospital room after passing from his gunshot wound into his neck, with the mother of the young man and his sisters and brothers over top of him crying and screaming out his name while holding him. Tale of a Tape is a montage of their lives and their deaths. His footage dates back to the late 1980s, filming these intense, tragic moments, which are incredibly difficult to do. Curtis is able to weave their heartfelt stories in a way that the youth in D.C. respond to. He shows the video as tributes to loved ones and in sincere hopes that they will think twice before finding a gun and taking someone else's life. Articles about Curtis Mozie and his tireless efforts with the Tale of the Tape have appeared in the Washington Post. As a community activist for nonviolence, awarded the Fox 5 Hometown Hero Award, he has also been featured on Nightline, NPR, NBC News 4, ABC, CBS, DC Cable Channel 28, Mad Flavors Cable Channel with Allen Iverson's Stop the Violence event on BET, and with NBA All-Star TNT Sports C. Weber and rap star Nas. Curtis has written a book memoir on his own work, Beyond the Yellow Tape. If you saw Curtis Mozie on the streets of D.C., you would know that he is undoubtedly a unique individual. Everyone who sees him can't help but smile and wave hello. He is a community hero for mothers, fathers, and youth in D.C. He is a quiet, gentle leader. Yes, I'm going to say that again. He is quite a gentle leader. All too often, we find that adults are trying to figure out just what to say to at-risk teenagers of today and get them to listen. He has discovered that the key isn't getting them to listen, but rather listening to them. That's the equation. Just a little bit more to go, guys. It's a life full of substance. I'm sorry, I have one more. While reporting on Princess, in a neighborhood that has been plagued by gun violence for over a decade, Curtis has spearheaded a community movement to wiping out the gang bloodshed that has been wiping out his friends and neighbors. He provides his community with guidance, motivation, and above all, the hope that one day the shot will be from video camera, and from not from young people directing guns at each other. While reporting on Princess, whom was shot and killed, we met an extraordinary young man named Curtis Mozie. This is from ABC Nightline, who is on a personal crusade to stop violence. Trusted by both the police and gang members, beloved by neighborhood children, he is fighting back. His main weapon is his video camera. What he captures is unlike anything you've ever seen. Always condemning their lifestyle, he exposes the human tragedy of the lost young men caught up in violence. Mozie's dedication, optimism, and courage are guaranteed to lift up your heart. Curtis Mozie has dedicated his life to making a difference in his city of D.C. Raised in Shaw, he has seen 100 of his friends killed by senseless gang violence. It has even happened yesterday. His dedication and commitment to making the streets of D.C. safer for teenagers and children in the Shaw neighborhood is a consistent reminder to all of us of how incredibly strong and resilient the human spirit can be. Curtis Mozie, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. Thanks a lot for having me here, and I'm glad to be here. And I guess today, this has been a good journey for me. It's been a hard, tough journey, but it's been hard, but it's worth the fight. It's worth the fight because I went through periods of time when just I'm with a friend of mine, and then that same day they landed in the street, passed from a gunshot wound. I'm in the hospital filming them, and then you see them pass, and the family is reacting. So, and then I had to go back and put the tape together of their life and make the story, powerful, and then give it to the family. And the family gets it and watch it almost every single day because it's bringing back the fun times of that loved one who was murdered. So, like I said, it's been a long journey, but I'm glad I'm doing it. But somebody had to do it. I guess I'm that one. And so like I say, I was born in Philadelphia. I'm from Philly. And the weird part about it is I was about five. I was about five at the time, and it was like 3 in the morning. And somebody came banging on our door in Philadelphia. So I came to the bedroom. I came to the top of the stairs. I looked down, and my dad opened the door, and the guy was like, "Man, somebody trying to kill me, man. Hide me, Mo, hide me." So my father hid the guy inside the back of the house till morning time. And it's weird how when I was 5 years old, I seen that. Then years later, whoever thought that here I am from providing hope for these young people who's in trouble and trying to instill, give them the right path. So it's crazy how that happened. But thank goodness, that somebody's doing something because we're in a war zone right now, and these kids need help. They need a lot of help and guidance. And we're the ones who have to give them that guidance. So I'm here and happen to have a video camera. I was one of the first people who had a camera on the block back in the days. So I, went to the basketball court and filmed the guys balling, playing basketball and rapping. People trying to be rappers. I'm filming them, and I took the tape and just throw it in the closet. I thought nothing, just plain old tape. And as the time went on, people started getting, shot and killed, murdered. So, Tonio got killed, and then, Johnny Boy, and then they kept going on and on and on. Then I realized that, dang, man, I got all these people on tape, they got murdered. So I said to myself, what can I do to help change that mentality or help bring back that fun times for their family members? So I went in my front room and I started putting the tape together, slicing it here, put scenes in there and there. And then when I got finished, I played it back. And when I played it back, it was so powerful that it brought tears to my eyes. I wept because I didn't realize what I created was so powerful. And then when I gave it to the family, oh my goodness, it was like, from day on, it just grew. It just grew on. So that's some of the things that I'm dealing with, that I have done as far as this Untitled Chapter project. But you know, I did meet a lot of good people along the way. Miss Credle, I mean, he's doing big things, you know, and he got a new thing coming out, 12 Years of Hell. Oh my goodness, I can't wait till that come out because that's going to educate so many people, you know, around not just in DC, but around the whole world. You know what I'm saying? He's showing from how things happen, you know, from the time that he was a detective, homicide detective, and then he's showing how things still going on and how ways that we can, you know, try to stop this. So I'm done. I can't wait for 12 Years of Hell come out. I cannot wait. It's gonna be big. So, you know, and any questions? If I got anything to
I
ask
was
them?
gonna say I'm gonna ask you something that we ask all our young people. So first, you make me hype. Like I'm about to just get my knee brace back out
Oh.
because
Uh-oh.
because I'm gonna walk different after this call.
Not the knee brace.
Uh-oh.
Really, Mom, it's about to be an extra clap in my step. But I'm so grateful to hear that you're hopeful still because you started this recording before I was born. And like we mentioned earlier when we were practicing for our call, we had 9 shootings last night, and it's still a real
Heartbreaking.
problem. So one of the questions that I ask my young people, I hope everybody can hear me okay, is why do they think the trigger is pulled? So could you share why, and you can give a 40-minute answer because this is your time.
Right.
But you felt it, like you said, when you were 5 in Philly and when you were 35 in DC. Like it, why is this happening?
Well, number one, unfortunately, that all around these young people is just violence. You know, you go to movies, what you see violence. You turn on television, what you see a black young kid over top of a black young kid shooting a gun at them. You know what I'm saying? And you turn the video games, what do you see? Blood, gun, blah, 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 blah. That's all day long. And then the music, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with rap music, but when you're feeding the people who don't really understand it and their minds are still growing, they think that is it, what the song says, but it's just music in the form of entertainment. So that's where it goes bad. And they take that and literally live it. They bring it to life. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately. And then the bad things happen. You know, you got young people shooting guns. I mean, this is unbelievable. You know, I'm saying people, you know, shooting guns like it ain't nothing, killing people, gunning them down like it's a movie, you know what I'm saying? So they definitely got to be educated, you know, about the consequences. Because back then, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't bad. I mean, we was bad back then, the murder capital of the world, and things were going on. But then you had a sense of respect, you know, no women would get shot, especially no kids. You never heard any children, females, or any, you know, that's getting shot on here. But nowadays, it's like open season. And that's where they need to be educated at. Because a lot of them think that the lifestyle they live now, that there's nothing wrong with this. They actually think that there's nothing wrong with this because they don't know. You know what I'm saying? They really don't know the consequences. So that's where we got to come in and do our job. Like I said, I can't say it enough. This movie, 12 Years of Hell, I mean, it's going to actually hit them face to face and let them see that this is what you're doing. This is where we have been in America, and this is where, you know, we're heading now if you don't change the way of doing things.
Absolutely. Mitch, Mr. Mitch Credle, would you like to comment? I know you had a question. We're going to address your question, but since we're talking about your production and you're here,
What's that, man?
just talking greatness.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
How you doing, bro?
What's going on? Yeah, I mean, Curtis, I most definitely have the utmost respect for you, man. I mean, from way back when I was in uniform, I used to see you out there doing your thing, man. Most definitely, I always had a great deal of respect. I know a lot of police didn't like what you were doing because they always thought you were in the way and causing problems, but I knew deep down inside where your heart was and what your mission was, so I most definitely commend you for that. And when I first saw your piece that you put out, that was, of course, all over the place, Tell Her to Tape, it was probably the realest thing I've seen on television. And it just bothered me that people didn't jump onto it and carried you where you needed to be with that particular project. So that's why in my project, what I'm doing, I'm going to include some of your stuff in my project. And that's why I asked you to be in my project, because I want people of greater influence to see what you have been doing, and most definitely to see your work, because you need to be commended properly for what you have done, because no one else have done that, because can't anyone do that, and I can't even do some of the things you have done. So I most definitely appreciate what you're doing.
Appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Like I said, team effort. You know, we work together, man. We live on the two in the city. Just out here, you know, really on the front line, just trying to make a difference. So it's definitely gonna happen, man. Because I keep on going hard at it, keep working. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then another thing you said, Mitch, about the police department. Yeah. Now I respect that. Everything you said is true. You know what I'm saying? At that time, you know what I'm saying. You know, they had the wrong idea that I was probably a bad guy and I'm in their way and I'm stopping something. But the whole time they didn't know that I was creating history, documenting history. That in which years later, how ironic, they called me years later and say, man, help us with our kids, man. You know, show your videos to our youth so they can stay out of trouble. So, you know what I'm saying? So I understood that what I was doing was unusual, but I knew that at the end that it's going to be something good. So, you know, it's no hard feelings, you know, police.
I know you talked a little bit about you being
You can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we hear you.
Yeah, that's why I turn my camera off sometimes, because it works. I think the internet is tired from everybody using it.
Right, so.
But I was asking, could you share like how did you find courage in filming and recording, you know, the front line, because you were essentially battling the police and their beliefs about you, and then the streets and what they thought about you. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. And I know Mitch can tell you this off the bat. First thing you got to have is the trust and love for the people. Now, without that, the rest is non-avoidable. I mean, you got to have trust and love. And they knew, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Even with my prior employment, they knew what I was out there trying to change their mentality, trying to help them from dying. And they can tell, you know, one thing about youth, they know when somebody's faking or somebody's real. They can tell us, the streets know that. So, you know, I was one out there that I let them know that I'm here to help. You know what I'm saying? Things going on, you know what I'm saying? Y'all involved in things which is out of my control. But again, every opportunity, look, man, when they come to me for advice, look, man, you know what I'm saying? Peace. Peace is the only way you got to go, man. You know, I understand so-and-so did this and that, whatever, but I let them know that peace is the only way that it's going to work. So, and from there, I just built that trust, and before you know it, you know what I'm saying, I was able to have the camera out there, you know, and the camera was rolling, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, just capturing important footage, you know, catching them, just you know, being them. So, you know, so that's one of the things that, you know, got me that trust with them, and I kept building it and building it. So, you know, trust and love and trust, you know what I'm saying? You know, because when the shots were going off, you know, I'm running too, I'm ducking too, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm out in the front line. So, you know, that's the risk you got to take, you know, and I took that risk, you know what I'm saying? And guess what, though? I was scared to death. If anybody's sitting telling you that they ain't scared, I was scared to death, because I never knew while I was holding that camera who gonna walk up to me and blow my head on. You know what I'm saying? Because just on spirit tip, you know, he could be snitching, he got a camera, you know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, it was a lot of moments, boy, but I just stayed, I had faith, and that they knew what my goal was. My goal was to help them, and that's what I did.
I want to just continue to lift you up and shout you out, because trust is something from a psychological development lens that we learn in the first 6 months of our life. So when you are from 0 days old, the first skill we learn in life is trust. And I'll never forget, that was one of like my biggest discoveries with getting my master's in youth development, because one of the most absent attributes in our community is trust. We don't trust ourselves. We don't trust the police. We don't trust in the process. There's such absence of that, and I think it's because of those generational traumas and challenges that we face that don't allow our parents, like a lot of people say, it starts at home, that don't allow our parents, our grandparents to really pour into our babies to build that. So for them to trust you, Mr. C-Webb, only speaks to your heart and your presence. So I just have to give you even more credit, because that as scared as you were, they were scared too, but they, sided with the side of trust and belief. And you also gave them a platform to speak on. And at that age, they love that peer acceptance and that glamorization. So it all like makes sense from youth development theories, but to see it in action is real. So I want to give everybody a chance to witness some of his work. I'm going to share my screen so that you guys, we're only going to watch about 5 minutes of it, but tune in and really see how firsthand he was there.
That was getting ready to get murdered by some other young brothers. But if them young brothers knew the truth about who's trying to murder all of us, we wouldn't even want to kill each other. The handguns kill people. Talking about this is what's causing all this death in D.C. Put these guns down, folks. Yo, I'm living in this time behind enemy lines, so I got mine, I hope ya. You from the hood, I hope ya. You want beef, hope ya. And when I see you, I'ma take what I want, so you try to front, hope ya.
That's crazy that you knew these people, man. It's real, man. Ain't nobody that's doing it, man. With millions of dollars, ain't nobody doing this, man. Oh, it ain't no way. You know what I'm saying? We the strongest. 5 minutes you make it in here, baby. You can do anything. I can love you, boy. What do you put, Chris? All right, baby. Your man.
This true-to-life account captures the most violent crimes that took place on the streets of D.C. during the 80s, the 90s, and present. This historical, critical acclaim video memoir was created when D.C. was labeled as the murder capital of the world. A time when D.C.'s notorious hitman Wayne Silk Perry was terrorizing communities with numerous murders, when the shotgun stalker was driving around and shooting and killing innocent people. The stories depicted throughout the book are truly amazing. The gangs of the community allowed the author, Curtis B. Mozie, a.k.a. C.Webb, to have unprecedented access to intimately explore their violent and brutal Washington Post. In Mozie's work, here's a reality program that the story of ABC News 9 with balance. A voice speaks out.
What black person you know got an income?
Take the journey into the world of C.Webb and the safe house as he artfully captures the deceitful candidness of everyday city kid life.
You know that is what it
In a relaxed way, he opened up to Curtis' camera, voicing aspirations of existence in the language of basketball talk, fatherhood talk, or just by freestyle rapping. Beyond the yellow tape, life and death on the streets of D.C.
You got another murder victim on camera. It's over. Get the DE.
Then suddenly, over time, these young men were being gunned down in the streets, becoming casualties of gang violence. Many were shot multiple times. Some were crippled for life, never to walk the streets again.
But the story, which is Brooklyn, New York, created by Curtis Mozie, a.k.a. C.Webb, a true-to-life account of the most violent crimes that took place on the streets of D.C. during the 80s, 90s, and the present.
Woo. If everybody could take a deep breath with me and come back. Powerful work, man. And honestly, the level of intensity that's going to be needed to really shake this norm and break this cycle. A lot of people watching that may conclude that those behaviors and actions are senseless and cowardly and, that those behaviors aren't warranted. But let me just read to you the risk factors that I speak of or that I've referenced when I share true reasons I grab the gun evolved from risk. And these are risk factors that have been proven by the CDC and to link to violence. So individual risk factors include, and I have a visual for you guys in one moment, history of violent victimization, attention deficit, hyperactivity, or learning disorders. Risk factors include history of early aggressive behavior, involvement with drugs, alcohol, or tobacco, low IQ, poor behavioral control, deficits in social, cognitive, or information processing abilities, high emotional distress, history of treatment for emotional problems, antisocial beliefs and attitudes, and exposure to violence and conflict in the family. Those are just individual risk factors. it's probably young men in Mr. C. Webb's video that face all of those things. And so I just think we have to, I'm going to give you guys a visual so I don't have to keep reading for my audio people. But we definitely have to consider, again, the conditions that are creating our young people to want to shoot and pull the trigger. Give me one moment while you guys see my entire life. Please tell me I got it in here. And I don't have the full sheet, but this will do it some justice. So this gives you a visual of what I just shared. And these are only individual risk factors linked to perpetration, essentially. Family risk factors include authoritarian child-rearing attitudes. How many get the fuck up or hurry the fuck ups do you hear in D.C. from a parent to a child? Harsh, lax, or inconsistent disciplinary practices can lead to gun violence. Low parental involvement, low emotional attachment to parent or caregiver. Low parental education and income, parental substance abuse or criminality, poor family functioning, or poor monitoring and supervision of children. Peer and social risk factors include association with delinquent peers, involvement in gangs, or in DC cases, streets or hoods, social rejection by peers. I know a young man that I grew up with that was killed, and he was a jokester. He could joke real well, and he talked about somebody on the wrong day, and that young man came back and took his life. So understand that everything is sensitive when everyone's brain is operating in the fight or flight, mode. Poor academic performance, low commitment to school, and school failure can lead to gun violence. Community risk factors include, which I think is where we also should take some accountability, diminished economic opportunities. So we need help from our government and different institutions, small businesses, a lot of people that are coming in and creating gentrification. They should also offer jobs and opportunity. High concentration of poor residents, high level of moving around of transit, high level of family disruption, low levels of community participation, and socially disorganized neighborhoods. So we're trying to get the roots of the issue, and prayerfully with our partnership moving forward, you could provide the visuals because we're actually wanting to create a movie and have our young people write it. We have some script that have been written by some of our young people in our program. Our director's on the call. I did that on purpose. I wanted him to meet you. But I'm praying that we can move forward because we have to get our young people to understand that their roots that are underneath the flowers that they are broken. So is there any excerpt you would like to read from your book, or would you like to open it up to questions? We have about 15 minutes. I know you got your mic, you ready. We did have one earlier from Mr. Credle, and I hope what I just addressed touches on your question. I'm going to go up a little bit. Okay, Mitch Credle said, what do you think it will take for these young guys to put down their guns?
I think that's a good question. And I got 3 steps that they have to make. If they follow these 3 steps I'm about to give you, it won't be no murders. I'm going to give you 3 steps real quick. Step number 1, whenever these hoods have a problem with one another, step number 1 is go find the authorities, go find that person, talk it out, and make peace. That's the first step. Now, if that person say, I don't want to talk it out, I don't want to make peace, then step 2 comes in play. And you know what step 2 is? Then you have to forgive the person and forget about it. Just let it go. But the person say, I don't want to forgive the person. I don't want to forget about it. Well, you go to step 3. And what step 3 is? Step 1, find a person, talk it out. And step 2, so it goes around and on again. So it's no different. So we got to find a way to stop this and work things out. Handguns don't solve anything. So that's my view on that. If they do that, we won't have no murders.
Would anybody like to comment? I know I have some violence interrupters on here. I have, I think 2 of my youth are on here as well. That's a big deal.
If I could ask, I'm just wondering, who is authority to you that they should seek out?
What you say?
Who is authority? Do you find that as police or, I'm sorry, my voice is.
Whoever they're comfortable with, as far as in the community, whether the interrupters, whether the whoever they feel as though can bridge that gap where they can have that trust and come in there and say, look, let's talk it out, let's work this out. So whoever they feel comfortable with, if it's the police, then it's them. But it's not whoever's in the community that has that bond, that trust, you come together and work it out, make peace.
Got it. Thanks.
I might have an echo. I got it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, he now. I think you muted. I can't hear your mute button on.
I had to log out of one. I had feedback.
Okay.
We got about 3 different cameras on here. But I watch Mitchell. I watch Mitch post this all day. I know quite a few of us on here are probably the same age. I'm Tia's mom, and I'm older. And I know that our generation, a lot of the times would call home, be on the streets, kill people, do what they do, get locked up, go to jail, call home and tell the youngins, we don't mess with them down there. Oh no, you gotta ride on them. Oh no, so the guidance, the leadership, all of that was non-existent early on. I watch Mitch post this all day. If we just had those men, women, whomever in the neighborhood, if it can't happen at home, I also commented to this that I feel like it starts at home. I was a teenage mom. I had Tia when I was 16, but I had that support. I had those resources. I snapped out of teenageism soon enough to catch my seeds because I knew the importance of trust, love, empowerment, keeping busy. An idle mind is the devil's playground. It's just the message gets lost when you have these older guys who still, my timeline on social media is full of either 20-somethings pushing 30 or my age. And I tell you, my age group starts the most stuff, are the most negative daily. It's I don't know what to do because it's bred in them, is either do or die, ride or die, go hard or go home. All of these obsolete and obscene mottos that we're living by in DC. And I was out there. I loved the guys that did it, and and all of that. But something inside of me, I had enough love and foundation at home to fight it off, thank God. And to not hand it down to my kids, to not tell Tia the whole time she was in my belly, I can't wait till you get the F out of here. You getting on my nerves, you cramping my style, whatever. I flipped out enough on them. But I didn't break them in the process. And that's what a lot of what's happening in these homes and communities, where I just made a comment about when Tia, what you say, I never heard that one, aggressive behavior. That is such an umbrella statement. But I have a 30-year-old who is Tia, and I have a 7-year-old. And I have three in between that. And when I was pregnant with my 7-year-old, I prayed to not have a son coming, because all I saw was the jabs all the father's friends was going to throw at him when he was 2 months old, going to his body and toughening him up and training him and getting him ready. For what? Combat? For anger? For frustration? For retaliation? You just waiting for somebody to unleash. Waiting for your frustration. Yeah, just waiting on the frustration to release the frustration. So I don't know. But I see Mitch posted every day. We have the violence interrupters. We need the mediators. We need, and thank goodness this whole police reform thing is going on, because like Mitch always says, the police before him, which made him become police, and the type of police he was, I've never seen anyone who could live on two sides of the fence like Mitch can pass. You know, I've never seen it. So I appreciate it, because that means you kept it true to the game on both sides.
Yes.
You know, and and you can appreciate and respect that, but we don't have enough of that. And then we don't have enough precedent set to have anyone trust in it or believe in it or buy into it. One of our biggest things with Tia playing ball, my kids playing sports, you have to buy into the system. You have to believe the system, or else it's a bust.
Like you said, it's so true, you know, and like you say, thank God that this gentleman go home every night. One Mitch Credle, I know he goes home every night and he's in front of his computer, he's editing hours, and he's trying to get it right, because he knows what it takes, and he has that feeling on that what he's creating is going to be, I mean, this film is going to be in schools, it's going to be in every jail system, it's going to be across the country. It's definitely going to change a lot of people's lives. So, like I said, help is coming, you know what I'm saying? Our future, it looks bright. So, like I say, he's trying to do it, he's going to do whatever he has to do. He's going to make sure that his thing is finished, and he's going to make sure the kids get it, and then they're going to learn from it. So I guarantee you, watch. Let's watch.
Right, I commented that too. Keep hope alive when Tia was talking about you and the hope that she got from your segment and stuff. Keep hope alive, but do the work. You know, we have to do the work, and we have to inspire others to do the work, and we have to get out there in the trenches. I had somebody wake up today mad as hell that 7 people got shot in Trinidad last night, and we down on the mall marching for, you know, national justice. But what's going on right here, I understand and I feel their anger. But what are you doing? You know, what are we doing? I'm proud of my baby. I'm proud of you guys. I'm thankful for you guys. It's necessary. But it's not a quick fix. It's a day in and day out grind. You got to speak to these kids when you see them. Let them know they're seen. I grew up uptown. I done came over Southeast, and like Tia said, how many, I don't know how many y'all here, but with Tia's question, how many come the fuck on, hurry the fuck up, wake the fuck up. They can't even get up. They can't even be awakened in the morning properly, and then you want them to walk into a school building and produce. It's not happening, and teachers aren't miracle workers, and it's just a whole cycle.
Mm-hmm. That's why we speak about the cradle to college program model, starting with young ladies, maybe even teen moms, since that's a part of my life and my story, but starting with a population that works towards actual prevention, because everything that we do as a city with efforts are only intervening. Nothing is really dating back to stopping it before it starts and enriching those roots that I shared with you guys earlier, because there are positive protective factors and positive experiences that combat all those things that I talked about, and that's why I am where I am. Kayla had a question. You had a question from a young person, Mr. Mozie. It says, do you think we need better mentors to push the youth to stop shooting each other? And Kayla, that's a beautiful question. Kayla is a part of my summer program where I have our young people work on themselves for 6 weeks and then work on their communities. And we do a gun violence interview where they have to talk to people who've lost someone to gun violence. And most of my young people don't have to leave home when they do that interview. So, Kayla, thank you for being here. I think what we're doing today is an effort to help build better mentorship and build people up, because I want to share this with like our violence interrupters and share this with everybody in our program so that they're passing it along to friends and stuff. Also, what Mitch Credle is working on prayerfully, and then our movie can be training modules. So like how you have assemblies that come to your school and talk about voting or talk about going to college, we want to talk about mediation and violence interruption. So hopefully when we're building 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds 5 years down the line, they're being better mentors, because we have to plant seeds that lead to growth further down the road for the change that we want to see. But right now, I think putting you on the platform and telling adults what you need as a young person is a start too. And you're going to do that with your clothing line, Emotional Gangster. So, Mr. Mozie, do you have any input?
Yes. First, the people that's doing the work is already here. You know, just that they need the resources and they need to be allowed to do what they do best. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times their hands are tied. You can't. You know, the government might say, "Oh, you can only do this," or "You don't need that." I think so and so just need this and that. They don't really know because we're on the front line. But they untie our hands and give us what we need to do the job. If they really care, then you're gonna see a whole lot of change in a positive way. That's my intake on that. That's my take.
That's definitely the part. I'm doing this entire month for free.
I know about that. Yes,
I'm a mommy, a girlfriend, a mentor, a big sister, a daughter. I'm a counselor by day. And you're right, giving us the resources so that we can do it. I said to one of my friends the other day who does frontline work, like, it's 3 people that need to be in your position, not just one. So if we were given those unlimited resources, that definitely could see a change too, because then we can actually give people jobs who need the money to stop shooting. Well, great question, Kayla. Great question, babe. You ought to change. We have time for one more question?
Did you see her comment? Did you see Kayla's comment about people in her neighborhood?
I did not.
She said, it's a lot of people in my hood that be scared to fight because people be recording, so they think shooting makes them big and bad. And I was talking about the social media element definitely having a negative impact and people doing things to make social media. But that is why this is perfect, because now is such a pivotal time. People will hopefully start thinking twice about what they record, what they do to be recorded. This legislation, the cutting of the red tape and all of that is a pivotal time. So we need to push.
Mm-hmm. Kayla, thank you for sharing that. I know we had a talk last summer and y'all were talking about how a lot of the older people in your neighborhood give the guns to the younger people or show them where to get them and allow them to access them so that they're talking with the guns. So building them up is how we start, and we got to start with your age. One day they realize that their recordings are creating evidence against their own. Said from an ex-police officer, detective, and great. So definitely having that second thought, reflecting. There's so many skills that are plagued by our living conditions and negative relationships. So decision making, which is the last skill to develop as a young person when we're 26 years old, our frontal cortex in our brain is what helps you make decisions. It's like the CEO of your mind. And that doesn't develop until the last half of your youth span in life and when you're 26. So sometimes we're expecting 14-year-olds to make decisions and have the skill set of making informed decisions and using discernment, but that's not developed, especially if you add drugs to the equation that plagues that development, you add trauma to the equation that plagues that development, then you add not having conversation to even create the dialogue to think through decisions, which also plagues that. So only building awareness so that we can change. But that's a lot of what my program tries to attack. We try to build these skills. They're called functional emotional development. So things like reflecting, having critical thinking, having self-regulation, all those things are supposed to develop with proper care. And if you don't have proper care, then you develop the opposite. So you develop mistrust, you develop a lack of security, you develop a lack of attachment. And that's why that camera becomes so important, because somebody didn't give you that love or that validation. So just equipping our young people with that, the ability to converse and have that vocabulary. My mom didn't finish high school because of me, but she is finishing now. But she also had one of the best vocabularies in my life. So it's
because of me, not because of you. I had ample opportunity.
Okay, not right, but you chose me is what I mean. And that's only positivity in that.
I'll take it.
Yes. I was talking about your vocabulary, though, lady, and me being a college student and still not knowing what words you use sometimes. But
Kind of had to get for back. I'm from D.C. Give for gab.
Yeah. C-Web, any last comments? Is there a way to support buying your book?
Yes. You can go on Amazon and Beyond Yellow Tape, Life and Death on the Streets of Washington, D.C. And also, I want to give a thank you out to my main supporters. Chris Weber, NBA TNT, and Rapstar 9. Because they see my dream and they came in and they helped me with some things. So I want to give them a shout out. Also to Kevin Merita, the Vice President of ESPN, the Undefeated. He also is supporting me, and Dave Bowers of No Murder DC. I thank them, for supporting me. So, it's all a group thing. So I appreciate them, and I appreciate you for having me here on this platform. So I appreciate that so much. Yeah.
This is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. I think what's missing is collaboration. So I've been on the team my whole life, so I'm praying that I can be the bridge to connect all these different efforts so we can have zero homicides in our city if possible. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Did you want to say one more thing?
When you said no homicide, it reminded me of my buddy Dave Bowers of No Murders. He always say, one murder is one murder too many.
Too many.
It's his favorite quote. Dave Bowers, No Murder DC. So.
All right. I just got connected to him beautifully because God just has been ordering my steps. So we're going to do it big. We're going to do it big. We're going to let these young people be seen so they don't feel visible with the gun.
Yeah, you see Toya's comment?
Let's see. I need an assistant.
I'm your assistant.
You are. Toya, hey Tia, this is Toya. I can speak on social media. Okay, see, yep, we're gonna put the pieces together. When youth deal with traumatic experiences, their frontal cortex lobe doesn't develop properly. Therefore, we have adults whose decision making is stunned. Coming from a youth specialist on the call, Shout out to Otis Massey. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Latoya, we're going to put this together. This is only the beginning. I can't wait to collaborate with everybody. If you want to email me for a copy of the recording, please do, but know that I'll be posting it as soon as I can. I'm doing a whole lot. But love to everybody. Happy Gun Violence Awareness Month. Hopefully the mayor will give us proclamation before the end of this month, and hopefully we can continue to end gun violence one by one.
Yes.
Everybody be well, stay amazing. Mr. Mozie, I'm going to call you tomorrow.
Man, be well, be well.
Be well.
Miss Credle, 12 years.
Yay.
12 years of hell. My man, Miss Credle, got a story to tell. Don't forget that. 12 years of hell. My man, Miss Credle, got a story to tell.
We gotta
Oh,
get Mitch's trailer in there to you.
Yes.
Job well done, everyone. I'll talk to you on text.
Yes. See everybody. Stay well. Stay safe.
thank you.